YouTube, it is I, Ember Honey Raven, the big fat witch. How are you doing? And how are you and you and you and how are you? You doing all right? Hang in there. You got this. Y'all, I'm so glad to see you. Welcome back to another episode of Wedin. It's a nice day for a white wedding or a gray one or a black one, depending on how you practice. Wedin is witching every day in November, and I'm doing this series here. We're putting up a video every day in November. This is a way to help me get back to witching, to help you, I don't know, have something crazy to watch for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. And we're just kind of, raising our vibration and getting our witch on together because y'all, 2020 has been a rough year. So before I go any further, make sure you are subscribed. Y'all, YouTube has been engaging in some mess and people are getting unsubscribed and people aren't getting notifications. So click the bell down below. That way YouTube will email you every time I upload a video because you'll miss some. Because I've had people contact me and they're like, I didn't even know you were posting videos again. YouTube didn't let me know. Y'all, Bella's crying at the door. I'm sorry. So I am going to be really straight with you on this. Well, I'm queer, so as straight as I can be. I'm going to be real honest with you on this. I had another video planned for today, but I feel very called to talk about what I'm about to talk about. And I'm going to warn you now, y'all, we are about to get real old school. Remember how I used to just sit down 5 or 6 years ago with my phone camera, which I still film on my iPhone, y'all. I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have fancy equipment. I got me an $80 ring light and I got my iPhone that I use every day for everything. Remember those videos where I used to just sit down and ramble and chit chat? That's what we're going to do today. I had another video. I'll put that up again. No, Bella. I may have to let her in because she may cry. But you know how sometimes an idea or a theme or just a thought will kind of get into your psyche and it will not like no matter what you do, it's just like, no, I'm here to stay until you address me. Well, that's kind of what's been happening for me. It started out with, y'all, we just had Samhain, Halloween. Okay, hang on just a minute. I'm going to have to let the beast in. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm so sorry about that, y'all. Bella, normally, she doesn't necessarily want to come up here when I'm filming videos. So sometimes I'll come up here and I'll be working in this room and she's like, whatever. But as soon as I sit down and start filming a video, she is like crying at the door like, Mom, she really, really does not like to be separated from me. Like, we are each other's person or beast. However, so back to what I was saying. We just got through with Samhain. And for a lot of us, there were some people, and I've been paying attention to the conversations. I've been talking to other witches, and I know how I feel. 2020 has been it's been kind of a weird year. Some people are saying, look, this has been the most rotten year of my life. Some people are having a really hard time staying engaged, because people are stuck at home a lot. People are dealing with, some people have lost their jobs. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And it's just hard sometimes to feel like, oh, Samhain is our new year. It's supposed to be the time of the year when we can feel all of the energy and really witch out. And, I know some people really struggled with that this year. And I will tell you, that's one of the reasons I'm doing the Wedin challenge is because I've really missed feeling my witchy goodness and witchy vibes, and I've missed connecting with you guys. So that's why I'm kind of making myself be here. And even if it's just doing what I'm doing now, which is sitting down and talking, we're doing this together. So I know I'm several minutes into this, but I'm gonna warn you now, I don't know what I'm gonna say or how long we're gonna be here. We're just gonna talk until we're done talking. So, Samhain came around. And normally every year when Samhain comes, I will see, I'm on social media, I'm on Facebook and lots of different places where I have lots of interactions with different people, witches, queer people, business people. My world is full of all kinds of people, all people of all ages, all races, all sizes. They're from all over the world. I have a lot of people in my life that are just, everybody's different. Some people that are very conservative, some people that are very liberal, different voting ideologies. I have a lot of different people in my world. And one thing that I normally see every year at Samhain is all of a sudden, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people will be like, oh, people who are not witchy or who have never studied will all of a sudden start feeling their witchy goodness, and they're all of a sudden, you know, I'm a witch. And next thing you know, you're looking all over Instagram or wherever they're at, you know, Snapchat or whatever, and they're witching out. And then it's kind of like, as soon as Samhain passes, they kind of go back to, you know, what they were doing before, which wasn't necessarily witching out. And this is not a call out. This is not to go, oh, well, people are only witches at Halloween. But we all know, like, there are people that really only kind of feel their witchy vibes at Halloween. And I started thinking about, well, maybe I should talk about that. Maybe I should talk about, you know, people that really only are able to feel their witchy goodness at Samhain. But I started thinking a little more and expanding my mind. And I was like, well, no, because people feel witchy during Ostara. Like, y'all know when springtime comes, especially here in North America, you know, when the springtime comes and things start warming up and the grass starts growing and the flowers start shooting up, y'all know we were all putting on our broomstick skirts and our little straw hats and running through the meadow and, you know, hollering for Athena's name. And, you know, y'all know we witch out, we're spring witches. And then, you know, later on in the summer, we may be those barefoot maidens walking in the meadow and gathering up herbs and walking with a basket of everything. With, you know, we feel our vibes different ways. And then Samhain comes around and everybody's in their black velvet and their hats. But, you know, I started asking myself, why do people feel witchier at certain times of the year? And then I started asking myself, but why do we feel witchier when we're wearing certain clothes? Or why do we feel witchier when we have certain things on our altar? Why do we feel that some witches are witchier because they can read tarot? And it's kind of taken me down this rabbit hole of, well, what makes a witch? What makes anything witchy? And I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but I do want to bounce off of a couple of items. So Adam Ballin he's a buddy of mine, and I just adore him. And he's got a fantastic channel, and he made a video about this, I think it was last week, and was kind of talking about witches who have altars, and they have like all these really expensive things on their altars. And, you know, I started thinking about that. I've definitely fallen into the headspace at different times in my practice where I think I've got to have all the things. And look, I joyfully will spend my money and buy things if I like them, because I'm not a minimalist like that. I would love to be a minimalist. Y'all, I'm just not. I like stuff. I like to have lots of pretty crystals around me. I like pretty things. I don't even care if they're expensive or if they came from the Dollar Tree. If I like it, I like it. So I'm never going to be that witch who, you know, I watch TikTok and I see some witches who they own literally one crystal. Their altar has 4 things on it, and it's beautiful. But I've also seen witches who have altars that they are so full, you could not put a feather on them without the thing falling over. They're so full. And those are beautiful too. I love both of those things. So this is what I want to say. I have harped on this for years. I have also been very guilty of not following my own advice. And I have also been very guilty of looking at what other witches are doing and going, you know, and this is why I want to talk about this. I think that, I hope that we are all aware that, you know, everybody has a different practice. There are no 2 people on this earth who have the same kind of practice. I know people who have very similar practices. Their altars look similarly, or they work with the same herbs, or they enjoy the same tarot decks, but they're not the same person. So you as a human being and as a witch, anything you touch is going to have your personal stamp on it, right? I could sit down with Arwen and Adam and my brother Nathan and Athena Beth and Sable and any of the other witches who I love and adore, Molly, and we could all be given the same 10 ingredients to make an incense cone, and all 10 of them would come out differently. The ingredients may be the same, but our magic is going to be different based on who we are, how we work, our intention, sometimes our level of knowledge and skill, and also how we see our own abilities. And this is what I want to say, because I know it's not about being a new witch or a baby witch. And Adam had some great commentary on that. So if you guys haven't checked his channel out, please do. I'll link him down below. He's linked on all of my videos. It's not about being a baby witch or a new witch or an inexperienced witch, which is what I actually prefer to say. It's not about not having all the skills. It really is about your growth as a person and as a witch. It's about your ability to ingest new knowledge. It's about your ability to learn from mistakes. So again, you could have 10 different witches in the room. They could all work with the same tarot deck. Their results are all going to be different based on who they are. So what I want to say to you, you witch out there, and you know who you are, because there's a bunch of you witches out there who feel like you're not witchy enough, or you don't have enough knowledge, or you don't, you're not as practiced, or you're not as powerful in some ways as other people you see. You witches out there who are doubting yourselves, I want you to hear me when I say this. Even the most powerful witches that you've witnessed on YouTube or in your life have had moments of doubt. Even the witches who you think have been doing this 30 years, who have all the magic and all the knowledge, they've all had their failures with spell work. They've all had spells backfire. They've all doubted themselves. They've all woken up and looked in the mirror and thought they were the ugliest thing that ever walked the earth. They've messed up. They've made mistakes. They've called an obsidian a quartz. They've, pronounced it tapestry instead of tapestry. Every witch that you know, that you've witnessed, has made their own mistakes, and they've had their own growth. I want to underscore what I said in my beginning video. The witch that you see on YouTube, or that you read in a book, or that you watch on television, or that you meet, that is not the sum total of their practice. You may meet a witch who's been practicing 40 years and who's wearing long black velvet skirts and has fingernails out to here. You may meet her and think, oh my gosh, I am never going to achieve that level of power. I'm never going to be that magical. But you need to remind yourself that what you see before you, you're not seeing all of their failures. You're not seeing that they struggle to pay their phone bill. You're not seeing that they have a health problem. You're not seeing their mental health struggles. You're only seeing, a 2D version of them, because you don't live inside their body or their mind. And this is what I want to remind you. The witches that you sometimes put on a pedestal, I'm guilty of this myself. You may have a witch on a pedestal because in your mind, you may think that their practice is just the bomb diggity. Y'all, I've just aged myself by saying bomb diggity, but I'm old and I can say what I want. I'm old as hell, okay? Bomb diggity was a thing back in my day. You may look at their altar and see $3,000 worth of stuff on their altar and go, oh my gosh, I am literally never going to have something like that. Just please remember that what you see is not the sum total of what they do or who they are. This is not meant as shade. I'm just going to keep it real for you. I have met witches, some from here on YouTube, who in their videos, and I've done this with witchy meetups on Facebook, where I see their postings in their videos or the things they post online or their Instagram, I will have a version of them in my head that I have built up that exists that actually doesn't match who they are. I've met witches in person who I'm like, when I meet them, I'm like, wow, they actually are a mean person. They're not a nice person. They look really nice and knowledgeable in their videos, but they are really actually mean, and they talk about people, or they're just not a good person. And you can have your own disappointments. I will tell you, I am friends with a woman who wrote a very famous book. I'm not going to name drop her because it doesn't matter. But she's kind of lived in the world of quasi fame. They made a movie out of her book years ago, and she's a pretty famous queer author. I'm friends with her. She really underscored for me years and years ago, never ever meet your heroes, because then they become real to you. And that was after meeting her, and she actually was so much more fabulous in person than I even thought she was. But I will tell you, like, we had a laugh because she had eaten a big old cheeseburger for lunch that had a bunch of onions on it, and her breath, y'all, I called it traveling breath. I wanted to travel across the room. It was so bad. And we were laughing about it because she had a great sense of humor about herself. And she said, this is why you never meet your heroes, girl, because then you find out they got bad breath and warts just like everybody else. And I think that is a really lovely thing to remember. It's fine to have heroes. I have heroes. I've met some of them I haven't. I have my own heroes. I just try to remember that they are also human and flawed. And I think that it's fine for us to look at a person and go, wow, I really would love to have my practice more like theirs. I talked about Sable in one of my first videos, and Molly Roberts. Those are two women who, again, I just respect the hell out of them. You know, I look at Sable's practice, and her practice is so permeated with authenticity and magic, and just everything she does is so thoughtful and beautiful. And, you know, it's not that I covet her practice, but I look at that and I'm like, I really want to strive to have more thoughtfulness in some of the things I do. I don't want to just slap dinner together to get it over with. I want to actually be thoughtful about what I'm doing and find the magic in what I'm doing. If I'm peeling an apple, I want to think about what spell work I could be doing with that. And that's how I envision Sable. I think sometimes, and this is again where there are people that you watch that they're just going about their lives and they don't even know that they're inspiring people. And that's Sable for me. They don't even know how what they do makes other people smile or feel warmly about the world. So Sable, if you're watching this, I really appreciate you, girl. But again, I also know that, you know what, Sable, when she gets up in the morning, I'm sure her breath stinks. Even though she's a super beautiful woman, I'm sure her hair looks crazy. I'm sure that Sable has farted. I'm sure that Sable has made a mess. I'm sure she's cooked a dinner that has been terrible. Like, I'm sure she has been a human being in her life. Like, isn't that a crazy concept? And the reason I'm just rambling on about this is because I've had so many people, y'all. I've been on YouTube a long time, and I've been on social media even longer because, again, I am really old, y'all. Like, I'm in my mid-40s, okay? Like, that's kind of ancient, especially here on YouTube where everybody's like 14. I've had a lot of people come to me over the years in my time on YouTube, and they, you know, have been so, it's very humbling because they've been just so sweet about, oh my gosh, your house looks amazing, or your practice looks amazing. And I'm very grateful for that. I thank them, but I also really try to remind people, oh yeah, you know, my altar looks great now, but you should have seen, like, yesterday I spilled wax all over it, and then my dog pulled my altar cloth off and broke one of my crystals in half, and it was a damn disaster. Like, you know, I can laugh about those things, but I just want to remind you, you don't need to seek perfection in your practice, especially if that perfection is based on what you think somebody else is doing. I want to remind you that witchcraft is not about perfection. It is about the process of practice. Those are your 3 P's. Not perfection, process, and practice. We call it the practice of witchcraft for a reason. And that is because nobody, I don't give a crap what they say, nobody is born into this world knowing how to practice witchcraft. It is something that you build up over time. Either, you know, if you were lucky enough to, you know, be handed some generational magic from your mother and she showed you the way, then great. Like, that is handed to you. But some people learn through study. Some people read a lot of books and try it out and practice it. Some people have to make a lot of mistakes before they get to where they're going in their magic and their practice. Just remember, it is not about perfection. You need to be willing to make mistakes, and you need to be willing to accept your mistakes as part of the process, okay? We're all going to get there, but we're going to get there at different times and in different ways. And that's where I go back to the example of 10 witches given 10 different ingredients, okay? Witch number 1 may take 4 hours to make her incense, and it's going to be the most badass incense you've ever used in your life. Witch number 2 may decide to throw 4 of the ingredients away because she doesn't like them or she's not knowledgeable on them, and she is going to make the most badass incense you've ever seen in your life. Witch number 3 may spill all of her ingredients on the floor with cat litter and dog hair, but decide to roll them up and sift it out and make it work anyway. And guess what? She's going to make the most badass incense you've ever experienced in your life. One of those witches may be intimidated and may decide to go read a book to find out maybe the best order to build those herbs in, or maybe if there's other things she can do. Another witch may be like, well, you know what? I worked with my grandmother on one of these and she showed me how to do it this way, and she may employ that knowledge. One witch may be having a bad day and say, you know what? I can't make this incense today. I'll do it tomorrow. And she will make the most badass incense you've ever experienced, but she's going to do it at another time. So again, I'm just reminding you, we all get there at a different pace. We all get there at a different way. And every bit of it is perfect. It's perfect the way it is. Every bit of it is about the practice and the process. Again, it's not about perfection, okay? Just a little pep talk. Just a little pep talk from me to you. I'm trying to keep the rambling videos like to a dull roar because I love to talk and I love talking to y'all. So I apologize for the length of this video, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a witchy pep talk and remind you again, you know, your magic is your own. It's special, it's unique, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. You can go read a book and do spells directly. Sorry, y'all, the TV's on. You can do spells directly out of a book exactly the way they tell you, and that's fine. Or you can read that spell and be like, you know what, I'm going to alter that and do it my own way, and that's fine. Or you can be like, you know what, screw that. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get these herbs, make sure they're okay to be burned, because you need to do a little bit of due diligence, y'all. Don't be going and burning nightshade and inhaling it, okay? And that's okay too. Make your magic your own. That's how it's supposed to be. Your magic is not supposed to be like anybody else's magic. It's supposed to be your magic. That's what makes it unique and special and powerful. That is where the power of magic comes from. It's from within you, your experiences, your diligence, your intention, your practice, your creativity, all the things that make us amazing, unique, magical beasts, okay? Seriously. So that's what I got for now. I'm about to go film another video for you. Be looking for that. Again, I put up one every day at 1:30, so come back and watch. There you go. I love you, mean it. I hope you keep making magic and doing things that make you smile, right? Right. Keep smiling. I love you, mean it. And until next time, huge blessings to you. Bye-bye.